In a quiet African village lived a beautiful woman named Adaeze and Chika. Chike and Adaeze were in a relationship from their teenage years. They spent most of the time together until this happened.
My love, you look so beautiful.
Thank you, my dear. You always make me smile. Catch me if you can.
You're so much fun.
I love you.
My love, like the river, your beauty flows endlessly.
Your words are sweet like honey from the bees.
In your eyes, I see my dreams unfold.
And in your heart, my love is forever told.
Have you finished your homework?
No, I'm still struggling with the last question.
That's fine. I will help you. Bring it to school tomorrow. I want to take you to meet my parents.
No, not yet. Let's finish school first. My parents want me to finish school before talking about marriage, same as your parents want you to.
That's fine. I just can't wait to marry you. I love you, Adaeze.
I love you too, Chika. I'm happy I found you, just that useless Tina wanted to take you from me.
Let's forget about the past. I love you more. Adaeze, my love, let's ferry around and see the beautiful lakeside.
Sure, my love.
Look at that beautiful view.
It's so peaceful. Look at that village over there.
It's beautiful, peaceful.
Got you!
Oh, you want to play?
You started it! This seems nice.
Yeah, my love. Adaeze, my love, let's play a game.
Sure, my love. I hope it's not one of those silly games.
No, it's not.
Sure, my love. What's the game?
Adaeze, my love, I dare you to dance for me and scare the villagers. Show them you love me.
Are you serious? I can't do that. It's embarrassing. You know I love you.
No, you don't. If you do, go ahead and do it.
Sure, my love. I love Chika!
Yes, so dance for me, my love.
Okay, it's my turn. I dare you to swim to the other side of the river if you love me.
You know I can't swim. I can't. Why can't you choose something else?
I don't have anything else. Moreover, Romeo died for Juliet.
Be like say you don't craze. I look like Romeo. Babe, I can't swim so I won't.
Babe, are you upset? It's only a game.
Be like say you don't mad before. I go only put my leg, I no fit swim.
It's just a game. Stop being so dramatic.
Okay, I believe you.
Why you think I'm serious now?
No vex, na play I dey play. Do it for love.
What about I only put both of my two legs without going in since I can't swim?
Sure, that's okay. This is perfect.
Just for you.
Hey!
Got you.
I love this.
Me too.
Come sit with me, Chike.
All right. Just for you.
Hey!
Got you.
I love this.
Me too.
You dey enjoy the water?
Ah, sweet, well.
Splash me back!
No worry, I go give you plenty.
You dey enjoy yourself, oh.
The water sweet.
Hey, stop splashing me! The water feel fine today.
Make I join you play.
Careful, go shake, oh. Babe, grab the boat!
Help! I can't swim!
Help! Somebody help! Help! He's drowning! Somebody, please!
Yeah, talk.
Help! Somebody help! Help! He's drowning! Oh God, help!
Help! I can't breathe!
Somebody, please! He's going under!
We're coming! Breathe! Come on, breathe! Make it out, move! Take me out, no! Breathe! Come on, breathe! Let's get him to the village! Quick!
Chike lay completely lifeless in the hospital bed, his body still and heavy against the crisp white sheets. The excess water from the drowning had flooded his system, leaving him swollen and exhausted. His chest rose and fell in shallow, irregular breaths, each one a quiet struggle. The monitors beside him beeped steadily, tracking the slow recovery of his lungs and heart, but his face remained pale and unmoving, eyes closed, lips slightly parted. Chika family had gathered in the room. His brother standing stiffly with his arms crossed, his mother seated beside the bed, gently holding Chike's limp hand. Adaeze stood close, her fingers intertwined with his, refusing to let go. The doctor flipped through his charts, explaining the situation in low, cautious tones. Despite his lifeless appearance, a spark of awareness flickered within Chike. He could hear them, especially the sharp, accusing voices directed at Adaeze. He was unconscious for 2 days, but on the third day, with great effort, he forced his heavy eyelids open just enough to see the tension in the room. His body felt like lead, weighed down by the fluids still lingering in his lungs and tissues, but his resolve burned fiercely.
So you are the girl that put my son in this bed, you wicked girl!
Mother, please leave her.
Chike was furious at his family for holding Adaeze accountable for what had happened. In that moment, Chika turned to his brother and mother and declared that Adaeze was the woman he had chosen to be with, regardless of their hatred toward her. He turned his head weakly to his brother, his voice emerging as a hoarse, strained whisper. "Stop holding Adaeze accountable for what happened," he rasped, every word costing him precious energy. His fingers twitched faintly in Adaeze's grasp. "She had nothing to do with it. Adaeze is the woman I have chosen to be with. Regardless of your hatred, your blame, none of it matters." The room fell into stunned silence. Adaeze's eyes filled with tears as she leaned closer, brushing a gentle hand across his forehead. Her brother's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. Chike's grandmother nodded slowly, a quiet look of approval on her face. Chike sank back against the pillow, drained from the effort, his body once again appearing almost lifeless. The water in his system made even the smallest movement feel like drowning all over again, yet his declaration hung in the air, clear, unwavering, and final. He had chosen her, and no amount of family opposition or physical weakness would change that. 2 weeks later, Chike was discharged from the hospital. After days of rest and careful monitoring, he had finally recovered enough to return to his normal life. The excess water that had flooded his system was gone, his lungs were clear, and his strength was slowly returning. Though he still felt occasional fatigue and carried the emotional weight of everything that had happened, Chike was relieved to be back on his feet. He resumed his daily routines, helping around the house, spending time with friends, and most importantly, stealing moments with Adaeze whenever he could. The near-death experience had changed him. He moved with a new appreciation for life, and his determination to be with Adaeze only grew stronger, even as the looming separation caused by illness. Months later, Chike's family made arrangements for him to complete his studies in another community far away from home. The decision came as devastating news to both Chike and Adaeze. Though their hearts ached at the thought of separation, they knew they had no choice but to accept it. They met at their usual spot, the quiet bench under the old mango tree by the river, where they had shared so many happy memories. The evening sun cast a golden glow over the water, but the mood between them was heavy with sorrow. Chike sat close to Adaeze, holding her hands tightly as he broke the sad news. "My parents have already arranged everything," he said softly, his voice thick with emotion. "I leave in 2 weeks to finish my degree. They think it's best after everything that happened." Adaeze's eyes welled with tears, but she tried to stay strong. "I knew this day might come," she whispered, squeezing his hands. "But it doesn't make it any easier." They sat in silence for a long moment, leaning into each other. Though the separation would be painful, they made promises to stay connected and planned for a future together. "We'll get through this," Chike said, gently wiping a tear from her cheek. "This isn't goodbye forever. It's just until we can build the life we want. I've chosen you, Adaeze. Distance won't change that." With heavy hearts, they held each other tightly, whispering words of love and hope as the sun slowly set, marking the beginning of a new chapter apart, but never truly separated in spirit, promising Adaeze that he would return after completing them and they would build a life together. 2 years later, Chike returned home, but to the shock of the entire community, he came back to marry Adaeze. Their marriage was talk of the town.
My love, we are married today.
Yes, my husband, let us dance and celebrate.
Our families are so happy for us.
I love you. This is our perfect day.
My people, let us dance and celebrate.
Yes, so we are celebrating love today.
Echo said,
Dance with us.
feel the rhythm, move your body.
Together we dance.
After marriage, years pass without a child. For many years, they prayed and cried for a child, but none came. The pressure from family members and the mocking from neighbors became unbearable. People called Adaeze barren, and whispers filled the village whenever she passed. To save her marriage and bring happiness into their home, Chika suggested they adopt a little orphan girl named Amara from a nearby orphanage. Amara was only 5 years old, innocent, respectful, and full of love. Adaeze accepted her warmly at first. She dressed her beautifully, carried her proudly around the village, and treated her like her own daughter. Adaeze carried Amara everywhere she went. She loved the child deeply and cared for her with all her heart. At last, she was somewhat free from the constant mockery. The villagers still talked, but not as cruelly as before. Now, what people said about her was, Adaeze has such a good heart to take care of that child. God will surely bless her with her own because of her kindness. Before Amara came into her life, she was known only as the barren woman. But that name had faded away since the little girl arrived. Even as time continued to pass, Adaeze refused to lose hope. She kept visiting the doctor regularly, determined to explore every possible treatment that could help her conceive a child of her own. Each appointment brought a mix of nervousness and quiet optimism as she clung to the belief that a miracle was still possible. After several visits, the doctor conducted a series of thorough medical tests and examinations. With a compassionate but serious expression, he finally sat her down and delivered the heartbreaking diagnosis. Due to significant damage to her womb, her chances of ever getting pregnant were extremely low, almost impossible. The news hit Adaeze like a heavy blow. For a moment, she sat in stunned silence, tears welling up in her eyes. Refusing to accept defeat, Adaeze pleaded with the doctor, her voice filled with desperation and unwavering determination. Moved by her emotional plea and deep desire for motherhood, the doctor and his team reviewed all available options. After careful consideration, they proposed a specialized treatment plan that offered a slim but meaningful chance of success. Adaeze agreed without hesitation. For the next few weeks, she faithfully followed the prescribed medication and treatment regimen, praying earnestly every single day.
Make I take this medicine quick. I hope say nobody they come. Abi person the door. Let me see if Chika is around. Chika, Chika.
Then, against all odds, the impossible happened. Adaeze discovered she was pregnant, and with a mysterious glow in her eyes. The afternoon sun filtered through the curtains of their modest sitting room, casting a golden hue on the wooden furniture they had carefully chosen together. "Chika, my love," she said softly, her voice laced with excitement she could barely contain, "please go and dress up in your best attire. I have something very special for you today." Chika raised an eyebrow, studying his wife's face. Her steps light and full of purpose. "What is this about?" he asked, chuckling. But Adaeze only smiled mysteriously and disappeared behind the door. A few minutes later, she emerged looking absolutely radiant. She had wrapped herself in her most beautiful attire, a deep green and gold wrapper tied perfectly around her waist, paired with a matching blouse that accentuated her graceful figure. And she wore the coral beads Chika had bought her on their wedding day. She looked like a queen. Chika stared at her in pleasant surprise. "Adaeze, are we going to an occasion? A wedding? A chieftaincy title ceremony? Why are we dressing on an ordinary afternoon? My husband, please do as I said. Trust me. Go and change. I promise it will be worth it." Chika hugs his beautiful wife. Still puzzled but charmed by her playful insistence, Chika shook his head with a laugh and went into the bedroom. He took his time, selecting his finest traditional outfit, the rich navy blue isi egu shirt with bold lion motifs, paired with matching trousers and his favorite black leather shoes. He even dabbed on a little of the expensive cologne she loved. When he stepped out, Adaeze's eyes lit up with approval. "Come, sit down, my husband," she said, guiding him to his favorite armchair. Her hands trembled slightly with nervous joy for him. "Today is a very happy day for us. A day I have prayed for so long." Chika leaned forward, his curiosity now mixed with concern. What is it, Adaeze? You're making me anxious. She took a deep breath, her eyes glistening with happy tears. Then, in a voice filled with pure wonder, she whispered the words she had been holding in her heart all morning. I am pregnant. For a heartbeat, the room fell silent. Chika's eyes widened in disbelief. He searched her face as if trying to confirm he had heard correctly. Then, like a dam breaking, overwhelming joy flooded his entire being. He sprang up from the chair with such force that it nearly toppled over. Pregnant? He shouted, his deep voice echoing through the house. You mean, we are going to have a child? Adaeze, my wife, is this true? She nodded vigorously, laughing through her tears. Yes, my love. The doctor confirmed it this morning. 2 months gone. Chika let out a loud, triumphant whoop that could probably be heard down the entire street. He swept her into his arms, spinning her around carefully before setting her down and planting kisses all over her face. This calls for celebration, he declared, his face beaming with pride. Where are my kinsmen? Let someone call my brothers. Let everyone hear this good news. My wife, my beautiful, wonderful wife, is pregnant. The gods have blessed us. We must slaughter a goat, open drinks, and thank the ancestors properly. Tonight, no one in this compound will sleep with an empty stomach. Adaeze laughed heartily, watching her husband dance around the room like a young man who had just won a wrestling match. She had never seen him this excited, not even on their wedding day. He rushed to the window, flung it open, and began calling out to neighbors who were passing by. Come in here. My wife is carrying our first child. Chioma, Mom and Ngozi. Tell the others. As the sun began to set, their home slowly filled with the sound of laughter, congratulations, and the rhythmic beat of music from a neighbor's radio. Chika could not stop smiling. He kept glancing at Adaeze with such love and gratitude that her heart felt full to bursting. In that moment, surrounded by their growing community of well-wishers, the couple knew their lives had changed forever, for the better. A new chapter, filled with hope and tiny footsteps, was about to begin. As the weeks turned into months, her pregnancy became beautifully obvious. Her belly began to swell with new life, radiating a healthy glow that filled the entire household with joy. Her husband was overjoyed beyond words. His excitement knew no bounds as he proudly shared the good news with everyone around them. Friends, family, and even neighbors who had once mocked her now celebrated with genuine happiness. The village buzzed with the positive news, turning what was once a source of shame into a beautiful testimony of hope and perseverance. For Adaeze, this pregnancy was more than just a medical success. It was the answer to years of silent prayers and the ultimate redemption of her heart. 5 months later, all their family and friends gathered to celebrate the good news and prepare for the coming of the baby. In the 9th month, everyone expected Adaeze to have her baby, but there was no sign of delivery. Adaeze went to see the doctor to discuss with the doctor when to have her baby, but the doctor told her to wait a bit patient. Adaeze was worried as it was already 9th month, and her husband and everyone would soon be asking when she would be having her baby. The doctor immediately arranged for her to come back on the 11th month. A few weeks after Adaeze's husband became furious. Why she haven't have any signs of delivery? All Adaeze could say is this is a special child from God, so let's be patient. On the day of delivery, Chika accompanied his wife to the hospital. Upon arrival, the doctor in charge pulled him aside and explained, "Your wife will be going through a procedure that requires only the medical team in the room. Once she delivers the baby, you'll be able to come in and see her." Chika's heart sank. He wasn't comfortable with the idea of being kept away during such a critical moment, but he had no choice. With a heavy sigh, he nodded and stepped back, silently praying for his wife and unborn child. Unknown to everyone, the doctor had hidden a shocking truth from her, a truth tied to her painful past. Adaeze gave birth to a son named Kamsi, and from that day, everything changed. The love she once showed Amara disappeared. She became cold, harsh, and wicked toward the girl. She forced Amara to do all the house chores, starved her, insulted her, and constantly reminded her, "You are not my real child." Chike noticed the hatred but believed his wife would eventually change. Sadly, Adaeze's cruelty only grew worse because she feared Amara would one day inherit her husband's wealth. Despite all the pain, Amara remained humble, kind, and obedient. She loved Adaeze deeply and secretly wished one day she would be accepted again. Sometimes, Chika couldn't tell whether the things he was hearing about his wife's attitude toward Amara were true. He would sneakily stay at a distance, quietly watching to see how his wife behaved with her. As the years passes, Adaeze continues to love and care for her son, not Amara. Everywhere she goes, she takes her son with her. One rainy evening, tragedy struck. Adaeze suddenly collapsed during a family celebration and was rushed to the hospital. Doctors discovered she had a rare blood condition and urgently needed a blood transfusion to survive. Tests were carried out. Her husband was not a match. Her beloved son Kamsi was not a match either. The doctors grew worried as Adaeze's condition worsened. Then Amara quietly stepped forward and said, "Please test me. I want to save my mother." Adaeze became furious even on her hospital bed. "Never! I will not take blood from that girl. Her blood will infect me." The room fell silent. Chike, desperate and heartbroken, begged the doctors to at least run the test. Minutes later, Amara went with the doctor to carry out the test. Minutes later, the doctor returned looking shocked. He held the medical results tightly and asked Adaeze an uncomfortable question about her past. The doctor revealed something unbelievable. Amara was biologically Adaeze's daughter. Many years earlier, while Adaeze was still in secondary school, she had become pregnant after a traumatic incident she buried deep in her heart. Believing the baby had died during childbirth complications, she was never told the truth. A corrupt nurse secretly gave the child away to an orphanage. The fertility doctor who later helped Adaeze conceive discovered old hospital records but kept the secret hidden. The entire room froze in shock. Adaeze broke down in tears as memories of her painful past returned. The child she hated, rejected, and abused for years was the very child she had once lost. Amara, with tears in her eyes, slowly held her mother's hand and said, "No matter what happened, you are still my mother." Overcome with guilt and shame, Adaeze finally accepted the blood transfusion from Amara, the true blood of her blood. Her husband, Chika, was consumed with rage and deep sorrow over his wife's wickedness. The woman he had trusted and built a life with had revealed a cruel and heartless side he never imagined possible. She had mercilessly maltreated a young girl named Amara, subjecting the innocent child to years of emotional and physical abuse, only for the devastating truth to emerge. Amara was their own biological daughter, the very child they had lost years ago. In a voice trembling with fury and betrayal, Chika confronted her. "You abandoned our daughter," he accused, his eyes blazing with pain. "You got rid of her during her school days, threw her away like she was nothing, and then brought her back into our home just to torment her. How could you be so heartless? All this time, you knew, or at least suspected, yet you chose cruelty over love. So even that boy isn't my son?" Now, her wickedness had finally caught up with her. The secrets she had buried for so long had clawed their way back into the light, destroying the carefully constructed facade she had maintained for years. Karma had come knocking, swift and unforgiving. Adaeze lay lifeless on the hospital bed, her body frail and weak from the emotional collapse and the complications that had followed. Her once vibrant face was now pale and drawn, her eyes sunken with regret. Tubes and monitors surrounded her, beeping softly in the sterile room. She could barely move, but her lips trembled as she whispered over and over again, her voice hoarse and broken. "Forgive me, please, Chika, forgive me. I was wrong. I was so wicked. I don't deserve your mercy, but I beg you, forgive me for what I did to our daughter. Forgive me for destroying our family." "Whose child is that?" Chika asked, her voice sharp with suspicion. Immediately, the doctor excused himself and walked out of the room, closing the door quietly behind him. Adaeze looked down, her hands trembling slightly. After a long, heavy silence, she finally spoke. "I was never really pregnant," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "It was all medication I took to make my body look pregnant. The child, He was sold to me on the day of delivery. That's why, after the so-called birth, I became so sick. My belly never went back to normal because of all those drugs." She lifted her eyes, tears glistening. "Please forgive me." Tears slipped down her cheeks as she pleaded, her frail hand reaching weakly toward her husband, hoping against hope for even a shred of compassion. But Chika stood at the foot of the bed, torn between the love he once felt and the overwhelming pain of her betrayal. The woman who had once been his everything now lay before him, broken by the weight of her own sins. The hospital descended into chaos. Doctors and nurses darted through the corridors, desperately searching for a way to escape. But it was too late. The police had already surrounded the building. Every doctor and nurse was arrested and later prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Please like, share, and subscribe to more of my videos. Thank you so much.